Mm. Good morning, Stampin' Addicts. I hope everyone is doing well today. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make this folio. I showed you a little sneak peek on this folio about a week ago. So I'm going to show you how to make it. It may take me 2 videos to do it, but we're going to start by making the inside, left side first, and then we'll move to the right side. First I want to show you this one that I made for a coworker of mine. And this one does not have the belly band on it. When you are making these, sometimes the belly band may not fit, so you may need to adjust them or save the belly band for last, or not put a belly band on at all because it still will stay open. I mean, it'll stay closed. So this is the one I did for one of my coworkers. She has a little girl. Her name is Evangeline. And this is the left side of it. And everything has a magnet on it. And here's it flips down. So this is what one looks like completely decorated. And then here's all of the cascade. She's adorable. And I put mixtures of colors in this one. So it all depends on what kind of cardstock you use and what kind of paper. And it just flips up, and how adorable. I love this cardstock. This cardstock Stampin' Up! Does not carry. It's an old cardstock that I just happen to have. But this paper in the back here is Grand Apple Green. So we do have that. Here's a little pocket I put on. This is for the right side. So you can add all these little nooks, extra like pockets and stuff. And this was like really easy. I just had an extra scrap of paper around that I just punched out a border and added it. And then just put a little insert. You can make notes on the back or talk about the picture. And then here's another one where it's pockets. This is her and Evangeline's brother and sister, and then there's pictures so they can hold on to those. And then this flips down, and then here's another cascade. These are all 5x7s. And they're on all different colors, so it's completely up to you on how you want to do it. And then of course my magnets. And then this is her mom. Becky put post-it notes on her to record her her months. This is month 1, and then this is month 2. I put little tabs down here. So there's 1, 2, this is 3, 4, 5, and then 6 and 7. And then I picked up this little thing on with the months for babies, their first year at I believe it was at Target. So I had picked that packet up there. So now she can add more to it. And these are little booklets that I have on each side. And if you want to, you can throw her 1-year picture there, or whatever you decide to do. So, just love it. So there, so Becky can do pretty much whatever she wants to. And this is the second side of it. So let's get started. This one turned out so cute. Okay, so we are going to work on the inside of the book, the base of the book. The base of the book, you will need several things. You will need chipboard. this chipboard, I actually have plenty of it hanging around because it's in a lot of our Stampin' Up! DSP paper. It's actually on the, it helps support the paper, this chipboard does, so I've always saved it. Didn't know what I was going to do with it, but guess what? I found something to do with it. So that's where I get my chipboard, is from my DSP paper. So, and you can also get them from your paper pumpkin. There's some in paper pumpkin. Okay, so to make the cover, which is this outside, we're going to create the cover. I am going to use two 12 by 12 sheets of paper, and then my chipboard, I cut down two of them 8 by 10. So these are both cut to 8 by 10, and this one I did not finish cutting down. And this one should be cut down to 1 by 10. So let me get this and cut this down to 10. So there's my chipboard. And then the cardstock that I'm using, I actually got it from Walmart. It's a craft cardstock. I like the craft sheets. They are not a normal feeling cardstock. And they give a good base. And you can pretty much do whatever you want with them. I got two of them. I got an 8.5 by 11 and a 12 by 12. Depending on how much paper or how many you want to make, I just got one of each. So this one I'm actually using two pieces of 12 by 12, which you will need. You don't have a choice. You need 12 by 12 to create the base of this book. I need to move a few things around. Okay, so I have tear tape. I got my tear tape from Stampin' Up. This is 1/4 of an inch. They do have 1/2 inch at 1/2 inch on Amazon. So there's another place you can get your tear tape, is Amazon. But Stampin' Up does have 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to take this 1/4 of an inch and I'm going to run it top to bottom on this 12 by 12 craft cardstock. And I'm pressing down on it as I'm laying it down. Alright. And then I have this this pick. It's called a Take Your Pick. Stampin' Up carries it. I'm using two sides. I'm using the scoring part of it, and then I'm using the pokey part of it. They replace inside here, so you can go from here to here. But I'm going to be using them both, so I took the lid and just put it on the base. So I'm going to be using both of those tools. So this is another tool I'm using. And I'm using this, the pick part of it, to pull the paper off of the tear tape. And sometimes it's a good idea to get your score, your bone folder, and just kind of make sure it's nice and secure, your tear tape. Just varnish it. So that's another tool I'm using. And then just pick it right up. Okay, so I'm going to set this right on top. There we go. So, okay, now see how I glued it down? Okay, this, I just am recently noticing this cardstock has two different colors on either side. So whatever cardstock you get, make sure you keep it all the same, because there is a difference. Then you'll have all different kinds of stuff everywhere. Alright, so here's my chipboard. which I want my 1 inch by 10 inch chipboard in the middle on the seam. And then I want my other chipboard to be out about a 1/2 inch. And I'm going to glue this down. I picked up some craft bond at Target. Right now it's really hard to find crafting supplies, especially glues. So this is what I picked up and I'm using. And I'm going to glue the center down. And I don't want it to be really thick. So this is going on thick, but I don't want it thick. Then we'll just flip it over. Come on. And I'm just placing it in the center of the cardstock. And then just squishing it down. And this craft bond does dry clear. But don't get too carried away with it as long as it's on your corners. Okay, and then and get your corners. And just do it nice and lightly. And this is probably the only place I use glue. You can use it wherever you want to. I prefer to use tear tape in other areas, but this is pretty much the only spot I use the glue. And just make sure you keep it a 1/2 inch away because you're going to need that. It's part of your gusset. So, and then just press it down. And if you feel you need to press down more, I have this scraper for wallpaper. It was in one of my wallpaper kits, so I'm just kind of using this to like just press it down, spread out the glue. And then we'll do the other side. Just spread it out. And make sure you keep your space evenly for your gusset here. And this is just a little help. Okay. Now I'm going to trim the edges. I'm going to take this one down, I don't know, probably taking 1.5 inches off. Yeah, it's about 1.5 inches cutting off. So a pair of scissors will be helpful. And I'll be taking that from each side. And if you don't have any of this chipboard, you can always use like a cereal box. That'll also work too. Okay, so now I'm going to trim the corners, just kind of get the corners, all 4 of them. Alright, so now all the corners are done. I'm going to use my tear tape. This is the 1/2 inch. You can use the 1/4 inch. That's what I started with. But I'm going to see how this 1/2 inch works, because I see a lot of people use the 1/2 inch, so we're going to try the 1/2 inch. No one says I'm straight, because it looks like I have this awkward, so I'm going to do this one up here too. So we do like our tear tape, and make sure you kind of varnish it down. And then this is going to fold up and create our edge of our book. So we are going to take the tape off. Or we're not taking the tape, but we're taking the edging of the tape off. And this little tool works pretty good. I never use this take a pick for anything. I finally have a use for it. Okay. And I'm just working on the edge. And I'll go around to the other side. You feel the need to fold it up first and then apply your tear tape, go for it. This is all I had, so this is what I used to start my project with, was tear tape. So works perfect. Getting different sizes up to you depending on your project. And there's some areas that the 1/2 inch works really good. And there's some areas that the 1/4 inch works really good. So and I won't be fast forwarding any of this. I don't even know how to do that. I'm still learning. So you'll see everything. And then just let's press it down. Use a bone folder. Use anything that has a hard surface. I've even used my scissors sometimes. Use your scissors to help give a nice edge. So you can pretty much use anything. Now I'm going to go to the other side. Okay, so this right here, see how I'm folding it up and it's creating this little access? Well, I'm just going to take that and snip it off, because I don't want that in part of my book. And it's happening over here. It just depends on how you make your corner cut. They're all going to be different. Lord knows we are not perfect, so anything can happen. Okay, so this one I'm going to use my 1/2 inch. See, my cutting is not even very good, so sorry. I do like Stampin' Up! Tear tape. It's a pretty good product, so. It'd be cool if they had different sizes, but it's okay. Alright, press her down. Varnish a nice edge, because we want nice edges. Alright, last side. Varnish it down. And pull it off. And then see how I have a little bit of this tape hanging over? I'm just going to flip that back in. And I'll do the same thing if you have extra tape, and then fold it over. And this has that edge again on there. Where'd my scissors go? Just kind of cut it up a little bit further. because we want the corners to be perfect. And then varnish your corner. All right. So that is your book, outside of your book. And if you use too much glue, you'll know. You can just take this. If you feel you've used too much glue, if you're covering it, you won't notice it, but it is there. I can see it. The little bubbles of the glue, so don't get too carried away. This one I did a lot thinner than this one, so it's obvious. All right. Now I'm just going to kind of fold this a little bit. I'm actually going from this piece of chipboard to that piece, and I'm just folding it back and forth. And then I'll do the same thing to the other side. Alright, I don't know if you can see the creases right there, but they are there. Alright, so that's the first part done. Now the second part is the inside. My inside, I have a sheet, and this is 12. I used a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. I have 2 sheets of 9 3/4 by 7 3/4, which are going to cover this up. So I got one for each side, left and right side, and then I have a 3" by 9 3/4, which will cover the center. So this will take care of the inside. First, I want to put my 3" one down. And we will glue this down. Make sure you have the right colors, because I want the light color, not this dark color. You don't have to go really heavy, otherwise you're going to have all that bubble, the excess of glue. So I'm just placing this right over top here. And I'm centering it so I can make me a nice little border. And I'm just patting it down. And I'm just going to help this squeeze some of it out. Okay. And then there's my... Alright, now the left and the right side. See, you can tell there's 2 different colors here. I want it to be all consistent. Make sure you get your edges. If all else fails, you can always squirt a little bit of glue under there and attach it again. I was actually surprised to find this at Walmart, because Walmart has run out of a lot of stuff. My husband ordered me some online too from Amazon, and I don't know, this craft cardstock is a lot thicker, so it's just the craft colored cardstock. This is actually a craft paper. So, and I like the craft paper too. See how it squeezes the glue out? That's good. It dries clear, so it'll be just fine. Okay. Other side. Once you got the idea of the basic part of the folio down, you can pretty much do anything you want with it. I thought it would make a beautiful baby book. I have one of my friends that I went to on stage with that I am going to make her one of these from when we went on stage for Stampin' Up. We went in October of last year, and I have all the pictures, so I plan on making her one of these also. You can kind of just drag the glue, because it will dry thin, so it will dry clear, so that is the inside of our book. So now I'm going to do it again. I'm going to fold it up again like I did before. Just going from one part of the chipboard to the other, because that is going to be my base. Woohoo! The outside of my book. The outside of my folio. There we go. So there's the outside of the folio. You can take a ruler and you can take your tool here for scoring. You can also run a light score line down here if you feel you need to. Be careful, because sometimes if your paper's too thin, it will rip it. So I just try to do a light one. It helps a little bit, but I don't really think it matters if you are getting that area with a hard surface. I think that helps it a lot better than running a score. So there we go, outside. All right, let's start working on the inside. We're going to work on the inside. Set my glue up. I'm going to work on the left side, this side of the book right here. We're going to create the cascade, and then all the inside of this book. These 3 pages. So this is what we're doing next, is the cascade. Let's see. Oh, we won't do that. We'll do that. All right, so I have one sheet of all right, so I have a 5.5 by 3 1/4, and I have, oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. It's 5.5 by 9 3/4, and we're going to score them here. I'll let that dry a little bit. I'll set that right there. Hopefully it's not in your way, and I hear Bruno. Okay, so this is the flap that's going to go on the inside, and it's 5.5 by 9 3/4. I used an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. And then don't forget, you also need a scoring tool. You can use the scoreboard, you can use your paper cutters, paper trimmers, whatever you want to score with. Okay, so I'm scoring this at the 9 3/4 side. I'm going to score it a half and then 1 inch. So I'm going in here 1/2, and then I'm going to go to 1 inch and score it. So this is the inside of my, this will be the inside. And then I have 8 4 1/4 by 5.5, and I use 2 sheets of 8.5 by 11 to make this. And these will be your cascade. And all of these I have scored at 1/2 inch. So I'm scoring all of them at a 1/2 inch. And you should have 8 of these. Alright. And these, if you want to, we have this corner punch. You can just punch your corners. And it rounds them nicely. Stampin' Up! Also carries this. Gives it a nice little detail. Okay, so I have that 1/2 inch tear tape. This is where I really wanted to use it. On all the 1/2 inch stuff. So we'll see how well it works, because I haven't tried it on the 1/2 inch. I've been just using my 1/4 inch tear tape. So there's that. And then I also have a closure. My closure is 8 by 4 1/4, which will go on the bottom. And I'm going to score it at 1/2. So I'm going to keep that to the side, but that's one of my next step to completing this side. See, it's drying nicely. See how it dries clear? It's a little glossy, but it's really not a big deal. Okay, so this I'm going to put on the edge here, and I'm going to place it on. I'm going to use my piece of cardstock that I put on the inside. I'm using that as my border and as my guidelines for all the way around. So I'm going to try this tear tape and see how it works on my 1/2 inch score. You can glue this, but yeah, I don't. If I know something's going to have a lot of wear and tear, I just don't feel very safe with glue, because some glue separates, dries up, and then things start coming apart. So, and I'm hoping that this does not do that. So, especially the book. It would be upsetting if it did. Where did my little pick? There's my pick. Okay, then remember the extra tear off there? Just fold that in. And I'm going to take this and lay it down right on the edge of the paper because I'm using that as my inside border. I don't know how well you can see this. It's kind of dark. Let's try it here.